Hello, class. My name is Smith Pallet, and I'm going to be doing a presentation on whether or not we should require labeling for genetically modified foods, and I believe that we should. So, just to start off, what are GMOs? GMOs are genetically modified organisms, and basically what that means is anything that's living, like a just any organism that has had their genetic code changed in some way. Uh, they change it using DNA, and the DNA that they use to make the modification is so small that it can't even be seen under a powerful microscope. So they do some pretty crazy stuff wherever they do it in order to modify foods or other organisms. But mainly, it's commonly known for its use on foods such as banana or corn, but it also is used on stuff like medicine and vaccines, or for stuff like medicines and vaccines, but it's most commonly used on food. So why are they used? So they're used for to prevent things like insects, weeds, and weather, because these things cause a lot of problems for farmers because they can't really do anything about it. They have to be there all the time. But with GMOs, they can grow crops that are able to kind of fend off those types of things without having manual people like manually monitor them. So that's a huge help for farmers. And there's also benefits for customers, not only for farmers. They are lower cost. They're yeah, they have lower costs, so they cost less money to buy, and they also have less soil erosion. So that's just another plus. And a lot of customers don't really realize these benefits, but they're there. Uh, Also, in my personal opinion, it makes certain food better tasting and easier to eat. Well, maybe that's because we've been conditioned to think bananas are like how they are, but naturally they look much different, and so do some other foods before they're genetically modified. But just looking at this, like pictures like this, like bananas with what it looks like seeds in them, it just looks difficult. And that banana is way smaller than a like. Look how small it is in his hand, and whoever that person's hand is. And you see bananas nowadays, they're just ginormous. So they make it better tasting. Well, that's a opinion, but easier to eat. They make it more efficient because they're just bigger. At least for bananas, they make them bigger so that there's a lot more, stuff to eat on there. So, what are the benefits of having them labeled to get into the reason why I chose yes? Well, one of the benefits is that it gives people the right to know what is going on with the food that they're eating. Consumers, they have a right to know what's in their food. And if a consumer is concerned about certain ingredients in their food, then they have the right to be concerned about it. Um, you know, it's sort of similar to the ingredients on the back. We need to know. It needs to be an obligation that we know what's in our food and what we're eating, because that's a pretty important thing, considering it's like how we stay alive and how we get nutrients. It also helps people of certain religions, or if they're vegan, vegetarian, or have other beliefs or whatever. Some people, they don't want to eat certain things, whether it's because of their religion or what they think, and they should have the right to know that. So it's the same thing with ingredients. That's why things like ingredients need to be shown, and the fact if something's genetically modified or not needs to be shown. Because what if someone wants to eat all natural foods, doesn't want to eat something that's been modified, whether it's good or bad? I mean, it's people should have the choice to do that. And if the things aren't labeled, then they don't know if what they're eating is genetically modified or not. Um, Another reason is, well, this isn't really a benefit, but everyone else every a lot of countries, including us or parts of our country, already do this, already require it to be labeled. Um, yeah, if we're the only country out of a lot of major countries that doesn't require it to be labeled, that just looks kind of weird and can place a lot of mistrust within customers and stuff like that. But yeah, we already have a lot of states that already regulate this, or a lot of places regulate this within the US already. So that just shows that, it's important. Uh, I thought I should have brought up an issue that can come with labeling GMOs, or genetically modified foods, is that uh, some people are uneducated in genetically modified organisms. Like me, I didn't even know about them till like my freshman year, and then I kind of forgot it was like a thing. It's something that a lot of people don't retain is really a thing. So that can lead to a large misunderstanding of like what it actually is. Because when people hear the words genetically or bioengineered, they think they're eating some like fake food or something, or something that is bad for them. But in reality, that's just not the case. People could view the label as a warning, which can affect manufacturers. If people see a label saying this is genetically modified, it might scare them away, and it could lead to manufacturers getting less like money, and could sort of lead to a collapse in the industry if enough people are scared of buying GMO or genetically modified food. And things like this can be solved by just having more avenues of teaching the general public more about GMOs, in order for things like this to not happen. uh in order for there not to be mass hysteria or whatever, or people to read the label and be like, oh, I don't want to have this. you know Teaching people more about it, making maybe teaching about it more in school, teaching adults that don't really know about it, writing articles and stuff like that, just teaching the general mass about GMOs and how important they are, and how they're not really like poisonous, or you're not eating fake food. That's just something that's important. So yeah, the that'll wrap it up for my presentation, and thank you for listening. Bye.